Tesla are really struggling in a number of areas right now, guys, and we've covered why extensively here on the channel. And we've mentioned the fact that Tesla are really struggling in China, and they are struggling so much over there, and the tide right now has very much turned. It's going to be very difficult to reverse the trend. Why is this? Well, China really has a stranglehold on the EV market within its own country, and any kind of foreign automaker trying to make inroads into the Chinese electric vehicle market is going to really come up against an uphill struggle at that point. And like I said, with Tesla right now, it would not be out of the question at all for them to potentially pull out of another market or pull out of China, because right now they are really struggling, and it's difficult to see how they can kind of overcome this, to be honest. Now, it's not unique to Tesla. They are struggling in a lot of places around the world. China included, the US included, Europe included, pretty much everywhere. The only market I found where they're actually doing better than before is Norway, but that's a really small one relatively. But the Chinese EV market is the biggest in the world. Over half of new vehicles that are sold in China are electric vehicles, and that is a massive country. That is a country that has over 1.3 billion people. It has a population around 4 times the size of the US, just to put it in perspective. And yes, China is still a developing country, but it's got a massive middle class that has huge demand for electric vehicles. So if you can tap into that market, it can be very lucrative. Now, Tesla did this for a very long time, but right now, a lot of domestic electric vehicle producers such as Xiaomi, such as BYD, the largest producer of electric vehicles in the world are BYD. But what can Tesla do? Are their days numbered in China? I've got everything you need to know here on the channel as always, guys. Arguably the biggest thing that's changed when it comes to Tesla is the fact that they're no longer the favoured manufacturer of the Chinese government. See, if you know anything about the Chinese government and companies within that country, because of the way their system works, a lot of companies are inevitably tied towards the government, whereas companies by and large, in a lot of Western countries, are separate from the government. We can talk about how separate they actually are. That's a debate for another time. But in China, it is undeniable that the government has a direct influence on pretty much every large company in that country. It's just the way they work. But for a long time, Tesla were very much favoured by the Chinese government. They actually received a lot of incentives to do business in China. And the reason why they did this was not because they were big friends of Elon Musk. They wanted to basically turbocharge and fast track the domestic market for electric vehicles. They really wanted to push forward with making more electric vehicles from the domestic producers. And having Tesla there very much did spur a lot of them on, gave them inspiration and impetus to actually go and make some more cars. And it worked. Like I said, BYD is now the largest manufacturer of electric vehicles in the world, not just in China, in the entire world. It's not even close. And it cannot be ignored that a lot of these domestic producers of electric vehicles nowadays are just a lot easier for local people in China to use. For example, if you've got a Xiaomi phone, if you've got a Huawei phone, or any kind of Chinese-made phone, and you get in a Chinese-made electric vehicle, like one from Xiaomi, like one from BYD, for example, it's instantly connectable. There's no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay or anything like that. It's just a seamless connection. And there's a lot of other examples as well. Effectively, these cars are tailored towards Chinese people because they are Chinese made. So they're just a lot better. They're just a lot more applicable to the local people there. A lot of people in China now believe that Tesla are very much out of touch when it comes to the needs of the people in that country. And one of the big reasons as well has to be the price. You can't ignore the price. Yes, there's a growing middle class over in China. Yes, they have a lot of disposable income, but they will see the fact that these Chinese-made cars are a lot better for them, a lot easier for them to use, and they are considerably cheaper than Teslas. And that's why Tesla is struggling in a lot of markets around the world outside of the US. For example, in Europe, obviously these Chinese-made EVs are significantly cheaper than Teslas. They are both foreign-made cars, but the Chinese cars are way cheaper. So a lot of people, instead of going for Teslas, are now going for either domestically produced electric vehicles from European brands or Chinese ones. There's not really a place for Tesla there anymore. And the market share in China is also being obliterated for a similar reason in a sense, but it's absolutely on another scale. Another big blow as well for Tesla is the fact that their full self-driving mode, their FSD mode, has not been approved by Chinese officials to be available in the country. And I bet that's going to remain the case for a very long time. That's another feature that they will not be able to use there. But I bet you if Xiaomi and XPeng and BYD and all these guys, if they've not already got their self-driving mode up and running in China, they will get theirs approved a lot more easily, again, because of the ties between the companies and the Chinese government. And then hanging over all of this as well is the tensions between the United States and China as well, the trade war, as it were, by President Donald Trump. And if that escalates even more, then Tesla may well just get banned in China. That would not be out of the question. It's unlikely, but it could happen. But at this rate, they won't need to ban it. But what has Tesla done in response to this? They must be trying something to try and get their foothold back in China. Well, they've slashed the prices of a lot of their vehicles, including the Model Y SUV as well. Like they have done in a number of different markets around the world. If they haven't cut the outright price of these vehicles down, they have increased the incentives in terms of reducing interest rate and stuff like that on them. But like a lot of places in the rest of the world, the sales haven't really improved as a result. So it's debatable to say if these have actually had any positive impact on Tesla at all. And even though obviously it's a used Tesla, they can use that money to buy a new electric vehicle from a Chinese brand and still have change left over. So a lot of people are doing that, again, because of the convenience. So not only is the number of new Teslas being sold decreasing in China, it is also the case that a lot of ones that are already on the road are being sold as well. And how easy those are to sell on for either dealerships, whoever actually buys them, is debatable. Yes, some will go into other people's hands, other owners' hands, and they will continue to be driven. But some of them may well go to dealerships, and it might be difficult for them to actually move them. But there is one shining light in all this for Tesla, and I brought you it the other week. The mega factory, the mega pack batteries that are being made in Shanghai as well now. Now, that could very much be something that allows Tesla to stay in China, if not necessarily as a big brand of electric vehicles, but as a company that is helping to provide sustainable energy storage in the People's Republic. But we'll have to see how that happens, guys, and how it gets on and everything. The robots as well is something to consider, but I wouldn't bet on robo-taxis rolling around the streets of Beijing and Guangzhou anytime soon. But guys, your thoughts are appreciated on this story in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this. And have a fantastic day wherever in the world today, guys. And we'll see you very soon.